Hey guys, welcome back to another video lesson for the 10-minute jazz lesson. So today what we're going to be talking about is a transcription, and in particular one part of this transcription that I think is totally amazing. So what we're going to be talking about is an Italian tenor player named Max Ionata. This guy is awesome. If you've never heard of him before, a lot of people in the States have never heard of him before. You got to change that today. Go out and check out Max Ionata playing the saxophone. He is such a wonderful player. And if you're really looking for somebody who's going to be almost educational in their playing, this guy is it. His playing is so clear. It's so, I don't want to say easy to transcribe, but easier than a lot of other musicians. And you will learn so much if you figure out what Max Ionata is playing over some of these tunes he has on YouTube. So I took the solo off of his video for But Not For Me, the great Gershwin tune, and his playing is just so fantastic on this. I did the whole transcription, and then I decided to pull out one particular part for you guys so that you could start learning a little bit from this. So what we're going to talk about is a short 8-bar section. If you'd like to get the PDF of this, and I highly suggest that you have the PDF in front of you, just follow the link below the video to go to our Patreon page, and there you can pledge $3 a month and get all of the materials that we're giving out that go along with these episodes. It's only $36 a year, and it really is a huge thing for us. It keeps the channel and the podcast and everything that we do going over here so that we can keep this stuff coming at you. So just follow that link. You get the entire transcription as well as the portion of the transcription that we're really going to be looking at today. All right? So the first thing that I would like to do is play the 16 bars that I have on the PDF for this week. So let me do that first, and then we'll go from there. All right? So 2, 3, 4. So there's the 16 bars that I put on the PDF for the episode, and we're really going to be looking at the last 8 bars of that. And that section is this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. So I don't know, maybe you've heard already, and you can start to kind of tell what I'm going to be going into here, but really we're going to talk about how this is a motif. And Max Ionata does such an incredible job of playing this motif over and over again, but changing small things about it so that it keeps you wanting more and more and more, but it also gives you something to latch onto in his solo. You know, if he was just playing double time 16th notes or 8th notes or whatever, it would sound great, but I don't think it would sound as great as this 8-bar section of the tune, because again, he's giving you that thing to latch onto. And I think this is what a lot of jazz musicians don't do that can actually get you a bigger audience. Make you more appealing to people that aren't hardcore musicians like we are, and actually have people really, really enjoy your playing, is to latch onto an idea that they can hear and say, oh, all right, this is actually a solo that I can follow, as opposed to what happens with a lot of people at jazz. They just get overwhelmed. They can't hear the stuff that we hear. They get overwhelmed, and they honestly can't keep up with what you're doing. So let's look at this motif, all right? The basic motif is this. All that is 4 notes. Actually, it's only 3 notes, but 4 individual notes. So it's a nice motif, right? So let's listen to what he does from the first measure of it to the second measure. So it's the same idea, but he's doing another iteration of it. Now, the chord goes from a B-flat major chord to a B-flat minor chord. So he's playing the exact same idea, which in the major is major 7, 5, 3. Then back up to the 5, and he's just making it minor. So he's flatting the 7, and he's keeping the fifth the same, and he's flatting the third. And another thing he's doing to make it more interesting and compelling is he's changing the rhythm. So we have this. Then in the third measure, we get this. So there, again, he's keeping the same basic motif, but he's moving it into the new key. So that is an F major chord, and he's playing 9, major 7, 5, back to the major 7. So putting all those together. And the next one, now he's over a D7 chord, and he's using the 3, the flat 9, and the 13. So now let's put those 4 bars together. And again, he's changing the rhythm the entire time to keep you going, wait, what's he going to do next? What's he going to do next? This is such an amazing thing. You always want your listener to be wondering, what's coming next? What's coming next? You want them sort of hanging off of everything that you play, right? It's like listening to a great speech. It's compelling. You want to hear what the orator is going to say next. We want our playing to be like that too. After all, a solo is not that much different than a speech, right? We want to be compelling. All right, so we got the first 4 bars. And then he continues it. And that measure is where the motif ends, and he decides to go on to something else. So he plays that last iteration of the motif. And then he almost puts a period on the phrase by going away from it a little bit and ending the phrase very nicely. I love this line. So if we put all 8 bars together, it's a really, really cool thing. A really, really cool 8 bars, and I think you can study this and get a lot out of it. So let's talk about some of the skills that you need to be able to pull something like this off. You need complete and total knowledge of every chord that's happening. You need to be able to get around all of those chord changes. You need to know them inside and out, so that on the fly, you come up with something that you think sounds cool. You want to turn it into a motif, play it again, but the entire time, the chords are actually changing, right? So you need to be able to fit your idea to all these chords that are changing around you. So that's like the #1 skill that you can develop to be able to get this motific stuff. So let me come up with a motif over these same 8 bars. It's not going to be anywhere as good as Max Ionata's, but just to give you an idea of how you could do this in your own playing, right? So what if I played 1, 2, 3, Right? So a little bit less cool than Max's, but you could hear the common thread going all the way through there. So hopefully you could hear that common thread that goes through there. So take these changes on the PDF, come up with your own motif after studying Max's and maybe learning the one that I just played, and start to come up with your own ability to do this. All right? Leave me any questions you have below, any suggestions on future episodes that you might want to see, and make sure you go over and get the PDF so you can get the full benefit out of this lesson. All right, we'll see you next week with a brand new one. Have a good one.